what's up? I'd like to say that we're Team Survivor. This is my friend Ralph, and this is my friend Juan. And I'm Chris.
Alright, today we're going to be discussing cards that we think that are going to be more abusive in the card game or not, and then we're going to talk about later on the featured ban list in the September 1st. First card is Card is Safe Return.
Card is Safe is already pretty broken, but it's going to be even more broken in the near future.
The first deck we want to talk about it is Zombies. Zombies are the first one that you always use it. Then after that comes Plants. Since the premiere of Phantom, thanks to Gigaplan and Lord Poison from IOC, they made a big comeback on the card game.
Now the third deck is Light Sworns.
Well, Light Sworns are already kind of broken already with that Charge of Light Brigade, right?
The Charge of Light Brigade, because the Wolf will get milled, and you're going to get Lumina. And you're going to start building up your hand faster and faster.
But if you're lucky, you mill 3 wolves.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's why this card's going to be abusive. And the fourth deck, and it's going to be a new edition, is the Fairies. Yeah, so the brand new card from the Premium Pack 2 is Athena.
Athena and the Valhalla of the Fallen, right?
Which we're gonna go into that card right now.
Valhalla of the Fallen.
If you control no monsters, you can special summon 1 fairy from your hand.
Well, that goes great with Athena.
Not only Athena, it works with Dark Lords of Ra, but now you can make into a Fairy Chaos.
And you can also do it with Arcana Force 21. Because you summon him, special summon him from your hand, and if you have Venus, you pay 500, and you get 3 orbs, and you attack all of them if you clear your opponent's field, and then tribute 2 of them to skip your opponent's turn.
Now the next card we're going to be talking about is Athena.
She came in Premium Pack 2 along with Valhalla and Hall of the Fallen. Her first effect is whenever a fairy is summoned, she inflicts 600, and her second effect is you tribute a fairy other than herself to revive a fairy back from your graveyard.
So I'm guessing Card Safe is going to go along great with her.
If you play 2 or 3 of them in the deck, then you could draw 3 cards, and she goes in good combo with Honest. So if they attack her with say Judgment Dragon, just send Honest, and then revive it if you have a Bountiful Artemis or any other useless fairy you have on the field, and to bring back Honest, and then combo with Main Phase 2 to bring it back to your hand.
Well, isn't she also a burner?
Yeah, she's a burner. She burns any time when a fairy is summoned.
That is actually pretty good. So you'll burn, you'll special summon, and you'll draw.
Exactly.
That's pretty badass.
Alright. Cards from the TCG. The first one we're going to talk about.
Emergency Teleport. It's a card that I use. Because I'm using something called Monarch. It's pretty good. I mean, I consider it more as a monster card because basically you could you special summon a monster.
That's level 3 or lower psychic.
3 or lower psychic, and you could use it as Monarch bait or Synchro bait.
Exactly.
Depending on what you do. The downside is if your opponent has a bigger monster than you and you use it during their turn,
it only protects you.
It's gonna only protect you for 1 turn.
And if they don't attack, it gets removed from play.
Yeah.
I'll count it as a dead draw too, because it will kill you that turn also.
And people are gonna start playing this in Dark Arms with Kurbons and other cards that's from.
Well, it makes sense to put that in Dark Arms.
Yeah, you play 3 of these, 3 Kurbons, and then you can summon Dark Arm Dragon probably 2-3 turns at the most.
That makes sense, and sack for like a Kaish or something.
Exactly.
Now the next card is Lightweight Tuning.
When you play this card, you need to have a face-up level 4 light monster, and it becomes a tuner.
I mean, I think it's a good card, especially if you're going to be using Avenging Knight Parshath, the new Synchro, but it could be a dead draw, depending on the way you use it, you know. I see that more of a side deck.
But it's abusive. It's going to be abusive in Fairy deck and Light Sworns, because the Light Sworns special summon, and the Fairy special summon because of Athena. And plus the Valhalla, you got single summon in 1 turn. So you could bring up Stardust, and there's your protection. You just need to worry about Diddy Crow eating him up, and the removal.
That's why you use 3 Stardust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I use 3 Stardust.
Nice, nice.
Alright, another monster we got exclusive to America, finally, is the Tricky.
The Tricky is like another Cyber Dragon, but with 100 attack less, and it heats up your hand. So, you know, unless you're using it in a pure Monarch deck,
Or a PC deck,
you know,
for you could, you know, summon your Light and Darkness Dragon. Pretty much he's basically useless in some decks, not all decks.
yeah. Take the Psychic Monarch deck, for instance.
Yeah, he's a dependable side deck card and defensive.
No. I mean, it's just, the fact is that he's special summoned, and he's quicker,
Yeah.
you know.
It's not that. It only depends on who that needs food in the
Like,
graveyard. Like dark decks.
Dark deck zombies, plants, and maybe the fishes.
Or maybe the Apprentice Monarch.
Could, a little bit, maybe, but not that much.
That important.
Yeah.
Because the Apprentice Monarch already have their own special summoning with the Apprentice.
And Magical Exemplars.
Alright, the last card we're going to talk about is the good card that's coming out later on as a 10. He's from the Duelist Genesis, and he's probably the first best synchro monster to come out of the 10 that probably Fitzroy mentioned in his Duel School 19. Now, Stardust is when your opponent activates a effect of a spell, trap, or monster effect that destroys a card on the field. You could you could tribute him, and then at the end turn, if you use that effect, he comes back at the end turn, and he goes great combos with card of safe return if you have 3 of them on the field.
I say he's perfect against Dark Arms.
Not only Dark Arm, Judgment, Celestia, any of those.
Gizros, especially
against the
especially the Gladiator Beast, because the Gladiator Beasts are all weak, and he's a big 25 8-star monster.
Yeah, but the bad thing is, Dark Arm runs over it. Judgment Dragon runs over it. Heraclos runs over it.
Exactly. So you have to protect them like with
Mirror Force. Bottom.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alright, we're gonna go into the
future bans.
I think D-Mock is getting banned.
That's probably the most card that's most abusive in this format right now.
In this format, but there's rumors going out that Commander's being banned premature. I don't believe that.
No.
The GB should be touched, because the Prisma and Test Tiger combo are getting too abusive. And now, we need to stop the GBs like we did with Dark Burn. We need a merging ban on those 2 cards. If we get those 2 cards, this format will be more decent.
I agree with that, actually, because when you used to have your Gladiator Beast, you used to do that and you used to rape.
Yeah, that's why the GBs are too abused.
Go aggro on the whole field, right? Like
in one turn.
With fuse with Beastry and Darius, if you have a GB in the graveyard, or you could do and then contact fuse them back into the deck, and then you get a Gizros, pop the back, and then attack whatever monster's face down, and then switch out for Laquari or Hopominus.
Yeah, and then contact fusion for.
Well, if you have a 3rd GB for.
Yeah, if you have a 3rd Gladiator Beast, but that's most probably what's gonna happen. They are gonna have that 3rd Gladiator.
Yeah.
The card I think should be rebanned is Monster Reborn, because they bring it here to no point, because it's no cost card, and it's gonna be more helpful to your opponent than to yourself, because there's way too much cards that are being abused in this format.
Wait, like they did in that Shonen Jump, Monster Reborn D-Mock, Monster Reborn you're D-Mock, Monster Reborn again.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and then, you know, it gets to a point that I have to say, reban Monster Reborn.
And bring back Kalahante.
Because Kalahante is a slow trap card, but it only works for 1 turn. But if you underspeed, okay, you don't have to worry about Monster Reborn. You have it in your hand, okay, you don't have to worry about nothing.
The only way you could get rid of it is with Morphine Jar, maybe Hand Destruction.
Heavy?
No, not Heavy. That's if they said it, but who would set a Monster Reborn, or in Spirit Reaper, pretty much.
I thought you were talking about Columns.
No, Kalahante. No.
But what else you guys think should be banned in this format that's been abusive?
With the GBs, basically.
The Gladiator Beast, just Test Tiger and Prisma.
They need to be at least semi, or maybe Test Tiger could be limited to 1.
No, semi at least.
Yeah, semi.
I mean, it needs to be crippled, but not to that extent.
Yeah, not to a big freaking extent. At least keep it more competitive with other decks like Light Sworns, Counter Fairies, maybe, and the Dark Arm deck.
And Psychic Monarch.
That's a future deck we'll talk about.
And this is the end of the show. This is Duel Academy. Later, people.
Later.